Just going to invite a few people, see who's around. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are we all? I hope you are all very well. I'm just doing a little invite at the moment, just to see who's around. And I wanted to talk today about a conversation I was having on Sunday, regarding society and children of today, really. And I wanted to share it with you. It's something I've shared previously. I can't seem to invite any more people. So it's something that I've shared previously, and I wanted to share again, really, because I think it's quite valid. And it is only my theory, after all said and done, and you can take it or leave it as the norm, you know. But we was talking, so there's a guy I was talking to on, I just want to prop this up somehow because that's annoying, okay? A guy I was talking to on Sunday told me how, that's a little bit better, told me how he goes round to schools. And we was talking about children generally and a little bit about the gang culture, which I won't go into as such. But he said that he was going around to schools and he was teaching about Jesus and God and that kind of stuff, which led me to say something along the lines of this. Because it's not that I don't believe in God, and it's not that I don't believe in Jesus or anything like that, and it's not, it really isn't. But what I see religion as is an institution, and people get indoctrinated into it, and they follow these particular things, but they don't necessarily come from a spiritual place, which is when you come from within and you live your life from your heart space. And I had a theory, because he was saying that children of today, the children that he seems to be meeting, don't want to do anything with their lives. And he was finding it quite odd. So I told him about my theory, right? And this is my theory, and I'm going to share it with you. As I said, I've shared it before, but I'm going to share it again because I find it quite apt in today's society. So if you think about the generations going back, if you think about actually, I'll just use my family as an example. It's probably easier. If I think about my great-grandparents actually went through the war. My nan, my mum's mum, she would have probably gone through the Second World War. And then my mum would have been a war baby. Yeah. Now, the mentality or mindset of individuals around that time was very much around family. It was very much around family gatherings, family being together, family loyalty, sticking together. You'd eat your dinner together. You'd always have that space together. And you also had this thing of gratitude. You had gratitude because not only had you come through the war, you had your ration book and you was grateful for what food you had on your table. Okay. There was very much a lack of anything, but family values were very much instilled into everybody's life. And as I was growing up, and yes, as I was growing up, we was very much part of that. My mum was at home. If she went to work, it would be night work or very early in the morning. So she was there to send us to school. You know, she'd be at home. She'd cook dinner every day for us. And it would be traditional English food, and it would be whatever's in season. You know, we used to have the local butchers. We used to have the greengrocers, and stuff like that. And that's what I was brought up with. And what happened is lovely Maggie Fatcher came along, and I loved Maggie, don't get me wrong, I loved Maggie. And she started a new social movement because she gave people hope, as in working class people could have more than what they think they can. And people like me stood up and listened. Now, not to say that's wrong or right, this isn't about what's wrong or right, it's just my theory, okay? And there was a lot of people like me that actually did stand up and listen. What she promised was that you could have anything that you wanted, yeah? But the way to get it was through working and earning money, and earning lots of money. And so a lot of people, that became their focus. Money replaced family, and people started wanting to earn lots of money. Then you had the rise of the yuppies, yeah, all moving into the East End, that rocketed up the house prices, yeah. And as you then changed your focus from family to money, your whole mindset changed, your whole life changed, your whole social life changed. It was, everyone was going out for dinner, everyone was out drinking. You know, that's what you did. Everything you did had nothing to do anymore with the family home. It was all external. Then what happened is that, sorry, so before I go on, so to then become validated in this world of money, in this new this new God, this new family, you was judged by whether you owned your own home, whether you had a car, whether you wore Gucci, Versace, all the designers, whether you had a Louis Vuitton bag, and all of that stuff came into play. Now, I've never been one for designer anyway, right? So I'm glad about that. But that was how you was being judged in the world at that point. Then you had these individuals that were chasing money, actually, you know, trying to settle down a little bit. If they found a partner, got married, and then they had children. But like in my mum's day and my mum's day, you couldn't stay at home anymore and bring up your children. You had to go back to work. You had to go back to work because you developed this life and this lifestyle where you had a £2,000 mortgage every month, and you had to keep up with the Joneses, and the only way to keep up with the Joneses was to make sure the money came in. So both people went to work, and the children went to childminders, or if other people were more fortunate, if you want to call it fortunate, brought in a nanny. So at the time when this was going on, you then had the rise in technology, and the first mobile phone was born. So people didn't have to be at home anymore. It made everything nice and convenient. Iceland became an instant hit with the frozen foods and prepared foods because no one had time anymore to sit down and have the family meal because I was too busy working and chasing the money. So then we had a rise in obesity because of it, because our kids were being fed on processed bollocks food instead of home-cooked food, yeah? And our lifestyle changed to that effect, where you was eating a dinner for one, you know, because it was easier than actually trying to cook some food. So at the same time, yeah, so technology started to boom. So we had the rise of the internet, we had the rise of the mobile phone, we had two parents working, children up childminders, and then we started to have things like, you know, a increase in the PlayStations and stuff like that. And what these people did is, because they didn't have any time for their children, rightly or wrongly, I'm not judging anybody here, but because they didn't have any time for their children because they're working so hard, when they come home, they're eating their microwave meal. They're not even sitting down together because Johnny Boy or whoever is sitting in his bedroom on his PlayStation. So there's no communication going on. There's no family unit being promoted because both parents are just bloody knackered anyway, because they're working so hard to maintain a lifestyle, and they've got this added thing with the children. So what they did is they developed this other mindset now whereby they can't be with the children, but what they'll do is they'll give the children anything they want. Yeah. So because they don't want them to have the same struggle, because they've had to work really hard to get to where they are. So rather than their children have to do the same, they just give them stuff. So they'll have the latest clothes, the latest trainers, the latest this, the latest that. That's if they're lucky and in this remit in the first place. I said, is it luck? I don't think it is actually. I think we as society made a massive mistake. And what happens with that is because these children have now been brought up not really appreciating the fact of what the parents have to do to maintain the lifestyle, they start expecting things to just be given to them because they don't know any different. And society has absolutely raised this generation now of children that just expect. They don't understand what it's like to actually really graft because we didn't teach them. We didn't teach them. And more than likely, they would see you come home absolutely exhausted with a bear with a sore head, stressed out to fuck, yeah, because you're working in a cutthroat industry, whatever that industry may be, and you have to maintain this lifestyle, you know, because you've got to keep up with the Joneses. You have to, you know, and that's the part they see. They don't see the fact how tired you are in the morning when you're getting up and going to work. They don't see none of that. They just see you coming home and you're not there. That's what they see, and they gladly take the new PlayStations, the money that you give them for pocket monies or whatever. You know, they gladly take it. But what that did is it developed that entitlement. They feel like they're entitled to everything the world has to offer, but they don't want to do anything to go and get it. They don't want to do anything to go and get it. And that's the sad thing. That's the sad thing. So I had this conversation with this guy that was going around to schools talking about Jesus. And I said to him, after we'd had that conversation, he was like, whoa, I hadn't really thought of it like that. And I said, well, it's just my theory. What we need to be teaching our children in schools is how to stop relying on validation from the outside world and expecting the outside world to just give them stuff, and to work inside and work on themselves, because all behaviours are learned. They're learned. We're conditioned. We're conditioned by our environment. And those children with entitlement have been conditioned by the environment. That didn't just happen. You know, they wasn't born and said, I'm going to be entitled to whatever. You know, you're not born like that. They were conditioned by what's going on around them. And that's the interesting thing. So instead of, you know, we've got an opportunity here. We have an opportunity as parents, as grandparents, to actually start showing and teaching our children that, yes, it's good to have money. Yes, it's because it does open doors for you, you know, but you have to find your passion. You have to find your dream. Find what it is you love to do and make that your job, rather than what a lot of us did in the early days was just chase money. We went wherever it was. We went wherever that money was, and we did jobs that we bloody detested. And we would be working 12, 14 hours a day, you know, because we was chasing the money. But that's my theory about why children today are full of entitlement. And we do have that opportunity. And I said to this guy, you have an opportunity right now. You may be going into the schools and speaking about Jesus and God, and that's fantastic, and do that and continue to do that, you know. And the Muslims should speak about their Quran, and whoever else has got a religious book that they follow, talk about it all day long, talk about it. But don't forget, you're following rules, you're being institutionalized, you're being indoctrinated, you're being conditioned. You're being conditioned into an institution. And that's not being spiritual. And if we taught our children more about spirituality rather than conditioning them, so let them develop their minds, let them develop their curiosity, let them develop their thirst for life, let them develop their passions. Work with that child. Because if you don't, we will continue to keep bringing up these kids with this sense of entitlement, and stuff won't change. It won't change. So that was my theory. Morning, Sam. You've missed quite a bit. You might have to watch it. But no, I'm not off today, darling. I'm actually going shortly. It's 8 o'clock. I've got a meeting at 9:30, and I'll be off to do that. But I just wanted to come on and talk about my theory of why children have this sense of entitlement. And that's what I've been going on about this morning. I hope you're all right, Sam. And yeah, on that note, I think I've probably said what I need to say. Have a fantastic day, people. Take care.